I hope you all are all well and safe at home. Uh, we couldn't complete the last chapter, organization development, so I thought I will just take a video and send it to you all. And definitely the PPT what is there, I will send that PPT to you. If you all have any doubt regarding this chapter, please message me or call me. I'll solve the doubt. So let us start with organization development. The chapter name is organization development. Now, what do you mean by organization development? Let us come to the definition over here. Definition of OD is a system-wide application of behavioral science knowledge to the plant development and reinforcement of organization strategies, structures and processes for improving an organization effectiveness. Now, what do you mean by this is we need, whenever we talk about organization development, we need to reinforce the strategies where we are making new rules and regulations, or maybe we change the leadership styles or management style, or maybe we do a job redesigning. There is a progressive change done in the organization for organization effectiveness. Okay, so that is what is the meaning of organization development. Now coming to the characteristics, just have a glance on the characteristics over here. What are the characteristics? The characteristics first is systematic approach. Obviously, organization development, we have to take step by step, and it is an ongoing process. So every now and then, wherever you see a problem, you try to solve the problem by reinforcing a new strategy. So it is a systematic approach where we definitely introspect into the matter and try to solve the problem. The other point is goal oriented. It is why do we do this organization development, or why do we do this reinforcement? Is because we need to achieve an objective. Every action is goal oriented, so we need to work towards the goal. The next is designed to solve the problems. As I said earlier also, that whatever problems arise in the organization, we need to find the root cause of the problem, and we need to try to solve the problem. How do we do that? We do that by changing the things which is not doing well, and we try to adapt a new thing in the process which can bring a relatively new change, or you can say better results. The next step is plan to bring organization change. Definitely when we are planning out new process, we are planning out new structures and policies, we need to do a lot of homework. So one first and foremost thing is planning. When we are initiating a planning, we try to plan out things in a better manner, and then we implement those plan into actions. The next step is long-term effort. Definitely whatever we do, it is on taking into consideration on a long-term process where we are trying to reinforce things for long-term results. Action-oriented, it is action-oriented. Whatever we plan, we are implementing. Why are we implementing? We are implementing so that we achieve our goal. So everything is interrelated to each other. Ongoing interactive process. The next point is ongoing interactive process. Now we are talking about change. Now again, when we want to bring change, there will be a lot of people, employees who will not understand why we are bringing a change, why there is a need to bring the change. So we need to have a better communication system so that we make them understand why there is a requirement to change the pattern, why there is a requirement to change the organization pattern. Then experience based, definitely these kind of progressive action or progressive changes will be taken up by the authorities who are much experienced, who have relatively good knowledge about it. They will be the people who will be taking up the initiative to bring a progressive change. So these are the characteristics. Now coming to the significance and growth of organization development. Okay. can you look at the first point, that is organization change. So where and which places are we are supposed to bring change? It can be rules, it can be policies, it can be employees a pattern of work, working condition, it can be a change in leadership styles, it can be a change in your goal, it can be a change in your objective, anything which you find that things need to be replaced, there we do an organization change. And definitely when we do a progressive change, it will lead us to growth, a growth which is not for short term but from a long term point of view, because this OD which we are talking about is a long term planning. Then work process, definitely when we are changing structures, when we change the pattern, when we change the management styles, when we change the working condition, we are changing a lot of things. The process comes into a systematic, into systematic process, and that will definitely give you better results, that will give better efficiency to you. Product innovation is the next step. Product innovation and product development. Product innovation is one example of product development. Why do we do product innovation? Is because we need to give better products to the customers. Customers are the sole where we can retain our goodwill. So it is very important that you need to satisfy your customers, and to keep them satisfied we will have to give them better products with better quality, with better prices. Then, as I say, it is a continuous improvement. When and wherever we feel that there is a need to change, we need to bring a progressive change, we have to change the process. Increase communication. Now this is very important, that when we talk about change, we need to communicate to the employees first, because they are the people who are going to implement the planning. And that is why we need to tell them, we need to make them understand how in the long process this change is going to bring a better efficiency in the work, better you can say development in the organization. And if an organization develops, there is much more scope for the employees to grow in the organization. As I said, employees development. Employee development is one important pattern, or you can say one important factor which has to be taken into consideration, because until and unless we don't give them the required welfare measures and employment development, they will not give their best. So to keep them motivated as and when it is required, I suppose employee motivation is also an ongoing process. So we need to keep them motivated. We need to give them whatever is being required to them, so that they are giving us the right kind of work, they give us the right kind of output to us. Product and service enhancement. Now again, already we have spoke about product development. Service enhancement, where we are giving better services to the customers. That is also one factor with a vital role to get customer satisfaction. Okay, so we need to give them the right kind of service so that they are satisfied. So when we follow all these steps, when we are following all these, if you can look at all the points, when we follow all these steps, we get profit. So profit is the outcome of all the process, all the steps what we initiated, what we take. The end result will be profit. So it is important we follow these steps, we undertake this action seriously, so that we get the profit required. Now the next one is individual or interpersonal level. Now how do you communicate with your employees? The very first point, if you see, coaching and mentoring. You need to be communicating them in a very optimistic manner, building up the right positive attitude in their mind so that they work better. Stress management. There are some times where the employees cannot take up the pressure of the work. They feel stressed, they feel distressed. So We need to make them understand, or we need to give them a proper motivation so that we can overcome their stress. We can help them to overcome their stress. Career planning, again, when we talk about career planning, the employees will stay in the organization only when they feel that there is a growth or there is a scope in their career in that particular organization. So we need to give them the right kind of career path in the organization, so that they stay, we can retain those efficient employees in the organization. Sensitivity training, again, is a very important point, where we are giving the right kind of training to the employees. It is very important that we give them the right kind of training wherever they feel that they lack skills to do a certain particular work. We give them the right kind of training to them, so that they give us the best of their work. Job redesigning, again, this is a very important factor to cover up, because when you have a proper job designing, which is as per the requirement of the organization, which is prepared as per the objectives and goals of the organization, then I think the job, then the work is done in a better manner. So job redesign is also one very important factor. Then the last is team and group intervention. If you see, the first point is team building. To do any task, we need a good team, and that is why we have to build a good team. We have to bring people into confidence. We have to make them work efficiently. We have to have an efficient team leader who will help us in getting us the objective of the organization done. So we need to have a good team building who will be able to do the task in a better manner. Process consultation, again, we need consultants. We need experts who can give us expertise, knowledge, how to overcome the resistance around the employees, how to manage the change in the organization, because there are many times where we ourselves cannot handle the change. So how can we manage the change which is recently taken place? So we need to have expertise or consultants who can give us a lot of guidelines and direction how we can take it up. Survey feedback is another way where we are trying to get the feedback of the customers. Now again, this feedbacks help us to understand how do we work on our loopholes, because when we get a negative feedback, we understand that yes, these are the loopholes which we have, and then we can work on the loopholes. It is very important for an organization to have a SWOT analysis, where they understand the strength, the weaknesses, the opportunities and the threats of the organization. And once you understand the weaknesses of the organization, we should be in a position to overcome the weaknesses by taking the right kind of action, by taking right kind of remedial measures, so that we can overcome the loopholes which is there in the organization. So that is why feedback plays a vital role to understand where and which place the organization lacks. So this is all about organization development. Hope you had understood the concepts which has been discussed. If you all have any doubt, please contact me via message, via call. I'll be always there for you all. Take care, be safe at home. I'll be making lecture videos and be sending you all as and when you all require. Thank you. Have a great day. Bye.